things, finessing the design to enhance the user experience. We go step by step. It's iteration only, right? So
Okay.
there is good design today. 1 month uh, after
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
that design will look like shit to you.
UI UX एक काइंड ऑफ ऐसा एस्पेक्ट है कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। आप कोई भी इंडस्ट्री में जाओ, इफ यू आर स्पेशली इन आईटी आईटी में, तो आप जितनी वेबसाइट्स बनाओ, आप एलएलएम्स बनाओ, आप मोबाइल एप्लीकेशंस बनाओ, आप गेम्स बनाओ, उसमें कैसा होता है कि हर एक गेम का या हर एक एप्लीकेशन का एक सर्टेन डिजाइन होता है। एक सर्टेन चीजें होती है कि आप क्लिक करते हो तो वो एक कुछ चीजें ओपन होती है। जैसे कि आप क्लैश ऑफ क्लैंस खेलते हो, तो क्लैश ऑफ क्लैंस में क्या होता है कि आप जैसे वो आई गेस वो लूट लूट वाला रहता है बटन, एंड वहां पे जब क्लिक करते हो तो वो लूट ऐसा कॉइन्स ऐसा ऊपर ऊपर के निकल जाते हैं। तो वो चीजें कैसे होती है, वो होती है विद द हेल्प ऑफ यूआई एंड यूएक्स डिजाइनिंग। मैंने सोचा कि चलो फ्रेशर्स के लिए तो हो गया था कि हाँ, हाउ यू कैन क्रैक द इंटरव्यूज विद रिद्धि चावड़ा, मैंने पॉडकास्ट जो किया था। आज के मेरे पॉडकास्ट के गेस्ट एक ऐसे गेस्ट है कि जिनको यूआई यूएक्स डिजाइनिंग में एक्सपीरियंस है। वो एक आई गेस 1 या 2 साल से कोई कंपनी में काम कर, एंड ऑल्सो इज माई कजिन। तो मैंने बोला चलो भाई आते हैं, हम थोड़ा यूआई यूएक्स डिजाइनिंग पे बातें करते हैं। एंड ये पॉडकास्ट स्पेसिफिकली उन लोगों के लिए है जिनको कुछ भी नहीं पता। दे आर लाइक दे हैव जीरो नॉलेज ऑन यूआई यूएक्स डिजाइनिंग, एंड बहुत सारे एस्पेक्ट्स एज इन वायर फ्रेम्स क्या होते हैं, प्रोटोटाइप्स क्या होता है, यूजर पर्सोना क्या होता है, एनिमेशंस क्यों जरूरी है कोई भी वेबसाइट के अंदर, कैसे आप सोच सकते हो कि हाँ ये मैं बटन यहाँ पे डालूंगा तो यूजर ऐसा काम करेगा, यूजर का वर्क फ्लो क्या रहेगा या यूजर का फ्लो कैसा रहेगा हमारे वेबसाइट या कोई एप्लीकेशन के अंदर। तो ये सारी टॉपिक्स के बारे में हमने इन डेप्थ बात की है। आपको काइंड ऑफ ये मास्टर क्लास है ऑन यूआई यूएक्स डिजाइनिंग। तो ट्यून इन टू द पॉडकास्ट एंड स्टार्ट से एंड तक देखना। कुछ भी क्वेश्चंस रहे तो फील फ्री टू ड्रॉप डाउन द क्वेश्चंस इन द कमेंट सेक्शन। ठीक है, सो ओवर टू यू गाइस। गुड मॉर्निंग ध्रुव भाई, कैसे हो?
गुड मॉर्निंग सर, आप कैसे हो? हम बढ़िया।
बस बढ़िया चल रहा है सर। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सर, थैंक यू फॉर बीइंग ऑन द पॉडकास्ट, थैंक यू फॉर बीइंग अ गेस्ट टुडे। आपका संडे बिगाड़ने के लिए थैंक
अरे
यू।
बिल्कुल नहीं सर, बिल्कुल नहीं। थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी। और ये बहुत दिनों से करना था और
या
कर नहीं पाए थे लास्ट वीकेंड, बट लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू इट।
या सो मैंने ऐसा सोचा कि व्हाई नॉट मेक अ पॉडकास्ट ऑन यूआई यूएक्स फॉर बिगिनर्स। कि मैंने एक रिसेंटली पॉडकास्ट किया था जहाँ पे यूआई यूएक्स के बारे में थोड़ी चीजें बताई थी, एंड दैट वाज विद वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड हु वाज अ फ्रेशर। बट मैंने बोला कि जिसको भी एक्सपीरियंस है इन यूआई यूएक्स डिजाइनिंग एंड स्टफ, व्हाई नॉट लेट्स मेक अ काइंड ऑफ अ क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एक रोड मैप जैसा, एंड एक बिगिनर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के हिसाब से यूआई यूएक्स के बारे में सीखना।
राइट।
तो मेरे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं, सो आप अपनी तरफ से रेडी हो जाना सब चीज को आंसर
बिल्कुल,
करने के लिए। ठीक है,
बिल्कुल सर।
तो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन था कि यूआई यूएक्स डिजाइनिंग एज अ डोमेन और एज अ इंडिपेंडेंट थिंग क्या होती है, एंड दोनों एक दूसरे से डिफर कैसे करते हैं?
श्योर। सो पहले व्हाट इज यूआई यूएक्स, राइट? सो अभी क्या हो रहा है कि नाउ डेज इन द डिजिटल एज, राइट, एवरीथिंग इज अ स्क्रीन, right? Either it's apps, websites, advertisements, banners, everything is a screen, right? So when you have a screen, you need some type of interface, some type of experience to show that messaging, to show what you are doing, right? So that's everything is a design, right? And it is transferring to digital design. UX is nothing but whenever you are interacting with a screen or with a banner or with anything, you experience a certain a user experience, right? So
Yeah.
that's UX, right? And whatever you are seeing on the screen, that's user interface, right? But I want to point out that UI UX is actually is not a term. It's wrong, right?
Okay.
There is nothing like UI/UX.
Okay.
It's actually wrong, right? Actually, it's user experience, and UI is a part of it. So
Okay.
it's UX is the umbrella,
Okay.
right? And UI is a part of it.
Okay.
So there is no slash or interchangeable thing in UI
Hmm.
UX, right? When you
Hmm.
are doing UI, you are a part of UX. There
Okay.
is no interchangeability, right?
Okay.
So yeah, that's it. Everything is experience. Whenever
Okay.
you are interacting with a screen, whenever you are interacting with a brand, you
Hmm.
go through an experience. That's user experience. I as a user, I as a customer, if I go to Amazon to
Hmm.
buy something, that whole thing that I do, action, inputs, search, checkout, everything is included in experience. In that you interact with the screen, and that's
Okay.
UI. That's user interface, right?
Okay.
So that's a UX contains many things like copy,
Hmm.
right? Copy is a very important thing, copywriting,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? That's not in UI as say, but when you are doing UI, you are including copy as well, right?
Okay.
So everything is a part of UX,
Okay.
whole user experience, everything. So
Okay.
that's the overview of UI UX.
Okay. So you talked about brands जैसे कि Amazon है and let's say Myntra है, Nykaa है, बहुत सारी brands है.
Hmm.
So अभी UI UX का brand मतलब Amazon एक brand है, it provides a service, kind of a service. And जैसे you can say कि Instagram है, Facebook है, they are a product. So what is the significance of UI and UX in any kind of a product development?
So actually, both are products.
Okay.
If you think about it, Amazon is actually a product, right?
Okay.
Same with Flipkart, same with Nika, and the other examples that you are saying is, let's say, Uber. That's
Hmm.
also in product. Service based is when you when you provide a service
Hmm.
in the state that the service is offline, maybe a service is some
Okay.
other kind of thing, and
Okay.
you are just showcasing or displaying information. That's the service based thing. When you are
Okay.
interacting with a particular thing, that's a product itself.
Okay.
Amazon is a product itself,
Okay.
right? Same with Uber, same with Swiggy. That's all our products, right? So
Okay.
both need UI UX, sort of UX is there, but product based UX is more important, right?
Okay.
Because if you think about it, when you go to Swiggy or
Hmm.
Uber, you want to complete a task, a
Yeah.
particular task, and the platform is providing you with that capability, right? So user experience in those cases is more important, I would say, right? When you are again booking a cab, you need a good user experience, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's a hell, right? When you are booking a cab in a very sort of emergency or whatever condition you are in,
Hmm.
if the user experience is bad, then you will change it. You will change to Ola, right? So it's important in service base. It's not user experience because you are displaying information, right?
Okay.
You are stating your services. You are building trust through the whole interface and stuff like that. So UX is sort of take a back seat, you can say.
Okay.
So that's the major difference between product and maybe service.
Okay. So for any, let's say, if we want to build a good UI design, so what are like some key points we should remember for like creating any good design?
Okay. So first of all, you can't just create a UI without the context of the
Okay.
UX. What are you creating, right? So maybe lots of beginners make this mistake to just create a section, right? A
Yeah.
UI. But actually, that's not how it's done. And it's of no meaning. If you're creating just a section without any context, how the whole thing is set up, right? Then that interface has no meaning or no finesse to it, right? It's not
Okay.
a functional thing, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, if a good UI, if you talk about, okay, you take the context of the UX, you think about all of the things that is needed to be done, and then if you are particularly talking about UI, then there are some design principles like something like contrast,
Yeah.
right? The color contrast, the hierarchy. So when you look at a screen or look at a section, there should be a flow to it.
Okay.
Your eyes should move in a certain way that a designer will create the flow, right? So when you look at the screen, the what is the first thing you see?
Yeah.
That we decide what you see. Like it's a
Okay.
flow, right? So maybe the heading is the first thing you see. Then you sort of see the description. Then you see the CTA. That's the call to action, right?
Yeah.
So there's a step by step visual structure that a
Okay.
section should follow in order to sort of assist user to where to see,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's something that's a this UI's what's the work of a UI, right? It's that
Yeah. Yeah.
to guide the user,
Yeah.
sort of, right? So a good UI has a good contrast, good hierarchy, good balance, good visual balance, right?
Yeah.
Lots of white space, maybe negative spacing. So it's good to look at stuff
Okay.
like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
You told about like you decide how the user will look, and you said that there is a certain workflow that we follow.
Hmm.
So while creating a new project or while going forward for a new project, if you are a freelancer or if you are working at a company, how does a UI or UX designer think? In like, I would like to know from your thinking, like if you are given a project and you want to know the user flow, or you can say user research of how the product or the product's user will be thinking. So how do you move forward with that? How do you think about, yeah, this is what the user will think, and how can one be so sure that this is what the user may think, and if there are any other circumstances, if the user is not like the way you think, so how do you deal with that?
Correct. So every answer here is it depends.
Okay.
So there is no one, two, three for every project, right?
Okay.
That you check. But overview is that whenever a project comes, you do user research, right? Before that, client is your first user. That's
Yeah.
what I believe, right?
Okay.
You have to satisfy the client first because he is coming to you with some needs, right? With some
Yeah.
ideas, with some stuff. So first you have to understand the client. That's the first user, right? So client will tell all the pain points, all
Yeah.
the concerns, most of the stuff client will tell, right? Then you have to read between lines. Whatever client is not seeing, you have to see. Okay, then that's it. That's your research, right? And how to do it is again depends. So basically, traditionally, there is some user research. The interview that like we are doing, we will do the same with the users, and we will ask them different questions about their pain points and how they use different apps, stuff like that. But see, those are possible when you have a big team, you have a big budget, you have a long timeline, right?
Okay.
Most companies, we need results as fast as we can with low budgets, right? So it's not possible to set up interviews and do that much research. So what we do is, most of companies do is, we take the client's approach, right? We take the client's needs, we analyze them, and we see what competitors are doing, what the
Okay.
industry is doing, right? That way we gain insights from the industry itself, that okay, this works, this does not right now, and
Okay.
we combine that with the concern of the with the need of the clients, right?
Okay.
Combining them, we sort of make a path, that okay, these things we have to include or not include, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I will give you an example of target audience, right? So I was doing a project for a real estate company in Dubai, right?
Okay.
So the brief was very simple from him, right? That I want to list, we as a company want to list the real estate properties, right? But you have to keep in mind that Dubai is a very luxurious place and there is a vibe to it,
Yeah.
right? So whoever is interacting, whoever is coming to buy those properties, expect something, right?
Yeah.
Expect that Dubai feel, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
not something like 99 acres. Here in India, we have
Yeah.
99 acres. We can't relate. You can't make a design like 99 acres for that company, right?
Yeah.
So you have to think about it, right? So, so everything surrounds to that Dubai experience, to that
Okay.
luxurious thing, to because now the target audience is the investors, the millionaires that are internationally comes to Dubai maybe for business purposes or just for investments, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Those are the target audience that the company is targeting, right? So they come with a certain expectation to
Hmm.
what they are seeing, right? So it should be glamorous. It should not be like any other normal design. So we have to think about it, right? Stuff like that kind of differentiate your project with others, right? So the process goes that way. If some client comes with a particular functionality or user experience thing, right,
Yeah.
a flow or a feature or particular thing, right, then whole approach and mindset goes to build that thing, right?
Okay.
So user research also goes there. All the thinking surrounds that thing, right? So stuff like
Okay.
that.
Okay. So as you told about like the Dubai experience, like
Mm.
they wanted that Dubai vibe. So I guess if I'm not wrong, please correct me. If is that called a user persona?
Yeah, so user persona is target audience, the user itself. The user
Okay.
persona in this case will be a 40-year-old male, a businessman looking for a good property in Dubai. That's the user persona in this case, right?
Okay.
That's the user persona we build around that. He has a lot of money, he want to invest. Dubai's real estate is very booming. That time after COVID, it was booming like crazy.
Yeah.
Still, I'm sure still it's booming, but that time it was crazy. Properties were building left, right, center, right? So that's the user persona, right?
Okay.
That international buyer. So we have to sort of think about what he needs or stuff like that. So that's user persona,
Okay. And the user persona changes from like project to project, right?
100%. And there can be multiple user personas as well,
Okay.
right? Maybe some there are combination of user personas, multiple user personas. It's not
Okay.
necessary that only one type of users use that product. Instagram, let's say,
Yeah.
yes, the dominant user persona is the youth and stuff
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
but it's not necessary that only the youth is using it, right? So there are different hierarchy, different structure to it, user personas as well, what you want to target and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. So there are some beginners who like start with UI UX designing, and there are some of my classmates as well, and there are some of my juniors as well. But what, according to you, will be the common mistakes that they will be doing if they are starting, and if they don't have any proper guidance or proper knowledge?
Mm. So I've been training two interns right now at my company, right? So I can sort of point out what mindset they are in, right? So one of the thing is they want to fill the space. In my wordings, I say fill the space because they see a section, let's say website section 1920 by 1080, and they want to fill it with everything, with design, because they think
Yeah.
design is filling that space with colors and elements and whatever they can fill and will look good in
Yeah.
that their mind. So they do that, and they do it for all the projects and everything, and they showcase it. But again, it's not mistake, because they don't know it. With time they will, but basically you have to sort of think design with a different approach. It's not about filling space. Design, it's not about that screen and everything. We are solving a problem. Again, it starts with the problem. If you don't have a problem, you don't have to design,
Yeah.
right? It's not necessary to design, right?
Yeah.
Just for the sake of it, if you're designing, it doesn't matter, right? So they sort of make that mistake, that approach, that we have to design, just design, without understanding why it's there in the first place, why we are doing it,
Yeah.
right? If I'm saying that, design a hero section, right, for a bakery in France. It's a
Yeah.
French bakery, and I want to showcase the bakery products and their story, let's say, right?
Yeah.
So if I give that brief, so what they will do is they will take bakery products from the internet, they will put it out something, will write it out something, design sort of elements to it, give lots of colors to it, and done, right? So
Yeah.
that's the thing. But the right way to do is it's understanding what's the purpose. Again, it comes down, what's the purpose, what's the problem, what are we solving for.
Yeah.
Copy, something like copy, designers don't understand. The copy you see, the words you see, it makes all the difference in the world, right?
Yeah.
Right. And designers think that's not the part of it, right? We are responsible for colors and elements and stuff like that, right? Layouts and everything. Copy doesn't matter. They think like that, beginners, right? But you will not get that feel if you not understand the whole context of it. So my
Yeah.
advice will be, first understand what are you seeing and why it is there,
Yeah.
right? Then you will able to design it when
Yeah.
you will get a brief. So study products that are already live and question it, because
Yeah.
you have to understand, if I'm seeing something like cred, for example, if
Yeah.
I'm seeing the homepage of cred, lots of brilliant minds have already worked on it. After a long time, after a long process, after lots of iterations, after a lot of thinking, they came with that particular section or functionality or user flow or layout or anything in that case, right?
Yeah.
So you already have the best thing in front of you. That try to understand it, not just replicate it, or understand it, why it's there, what have been that thought process like, right? So think in that sense. If you think about all the products in that approach, you will design better when the
Okay.
brief will come to you. That's
Okay.
something the beginner should sort of understand.
Okay. So now let's get into some of the technical concepts. Like,
Hmm.
I recently had a freelancing project that me and Hari had completed. It was like basically designing, uh, I guess, a website for a startup. It was an agriculture-based startup, and we had no idea about what the UI should look like, what the things should look like. But we were like, let's start it. We'll learn in the process. And what we did was we went to a bunch of different websites around that domain and took this component from this website, that component from this website, footer from that. And as you said, we just put up all the things that we wanted, the colors, the elements, the text, and at the end, that project was rejected. So, uh, during that, we learned something about wireframes and prototypes. we used Figma for that. So what are they and why are they important?
Correct. So, as you said, your experience is something everybody should learn from, right?
Yeah.
Because again, when you are working with a client, as I said, it's your first user. You have to understand his needs. What we do sometimes is whenever a brief comes, we go in our own mind. We we research and we think, okay, this is the thing what we will build,
Yeah.
right? And we start designing it. We think, oh, we got something and we will do it, and everybody will be impressed with it. But actually, and when you show it to client is like, you show it the final product to client, all the everything is done, and you show it to client, and client is like, this is not what I expected or what I want, right?
Yeah.
And that whole timeline and your motivation goes down. So the right way to do it is, first, again, as I said, you have to understand the brief, what the client wants and stuff like that. And wireframes and prototypes helps in a way that once you get an idea what you want to do, you
Yeah.
research something, you first start with wireframes. In Figma, you just draw rectangles,
Okay.
nothing else. It's no detailing is there, no colors, no copy, no, just layout section, and this will be there, heading will be there, feature list will be here like this. It can change, that's fine, but here about us will be there, will be some information here, maybe some image will be here, and you sort of make a structure out of it, right?
Yeah.
Then you show it to client, so he will get an idea that, okay, this is how it's going, right? And you get a feedback. If something needs to be changed, you get a feedback then and there only, right? Then you tweak it, then you again sort of put some details, you sort of build it, because its wireframe is nothing there, it's quick, right?
Yeah.
It's quick and it's effective, right? So you do that, you again show it to client, then client is like, okay, yes, this is the sort of direction I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Then you start adding elements and stuff like that, right? So the meaning of wireframe is, it's quick, it's effective, it's good to get feedback on,
Okay.
right? So designers quickly make wireframes and send it to clients or stakeholders to get that feedback and to get the team aligned that, okay, this is the direction we are going,
Okay.
right? So chance of failures decreases,
Becomes
right?
less.
Hmm. And
Okay.
prototypes have again different functions, right? One function is again to show clients how the flow is, right? You click on it, it feels like a real thing, if like a real website or real app. So sort of he get all the context how the app will be. Other thing prototype do is, if you want to show a complicated flow to a developer, because at the end the developer is gonna develop the thing, right? So he or she will also thank you for that, right?
Yeah.
Because of the prototype, it's easy to sort of imagine, visualize the whole flow. What will
Yeah.
this button do, that button do, all the will be linked, right? So prototype is different thing both for the clients and for the team you are building.
Okay. So there was, as I told that we used Figma. So this is one tool. According to you, what are some other tools that one should use, and what do you recommend for beginners, like if they want to start?
See, my answer is very straightforward here. Don't think about tools, download Figma, and that's it.
Okay.
If you are beginner, don't search for what are the secret tools that designers are using that will lead to success. No, that's not the case. Figma is the industry standard. Earlier
Okay.
it was Sketch, now it's Figma. In UI UX, there is nothing you can't do with Figma, right? UI UX,
Yeah.
everything is done with Figma, right? If you talk about graphics, then okay, Illustrator and Photoshop and stuff like that will come. But UI UX wise, Figma is all that you need. So just download Figma and forget about tools. Tools will
Okay.
come and go, it will change. Again, that's the mistake beginners do. Always, what are the tools? List of tools. Give me 5 tools. They will experiment with different tools, but it's not about the tools, it's about the skills. It's about what you deliver. It's about what you think, how you think, right? Focus on that. Focus on studying and analyzing the real websites and apps and try to mimic it in whatever tool you want to. XD is also there, but I don't recommend it. Figma is done.
The best one.
You download Figma and you use it. It's more than there's something called FigJam also now, right? So
Okay.
earlier, what happened was people use different apps to sort of make flows and in pre-design phase, right? People used to use different apps and websites and tools, sort of. But now FigJam is there. It's a Figma thing only. They allow you to create sticky notes, flows, anything. You can sort of use it for the research, and when the team combines, if you are on a call with, let's say, 4 different designers, it allows you to collaborate, right?
Okay.
To sort of brainstorm ideas, right? So that's FigJam, right? It's
Yeah.
already in Figma. So Figma is more than enough. No need for other tools, right?
Okay.
Focus on the skills.
Okay. So, as we know, like the Apple website, whenever a new Apple product comes, like I sometimes really think about how how do they think about this kind of an animation, this kind of stuff. Like when you scroll, you get Apple phone like rotates into a 3D motion. I guess for recently the headphones that came of I guess 1.5 lakh. I don't remember the name, but it was like when we scroll, it was first zoomed in and then zooms out. I sometimes think that the designer makes it, like the animations and stuff. So I sometimes think like what would go to through the developer's mind, because he has to develop that thing. And Apple does it so, we can say, like fluently and so perfectly. Like the design is also balanced, the aesthetic design is also balanced. Along with that, the functionality is also balanced. So, according to you, how does one do that thing? How does the aesthetic design and the functionality be balanced?
See, first of all, if you take example of Apple, they are damn good, right? As a company, as a visionary, the people there is damn good, right? So first of all, we have to understand that sort of people they have, they come with a different mindset altogether. But see, again, when we think about Apple, the first thing is they their first line is like that, right? The motto of the company is like that, that we want to be like this, a certain aesthetic, a certain functionality, right? So everything else in the company builds around it, right? That's
Okay.
the important thing, right? First you define what you want, right? Now what we see Apple is doing, that's one direction they are going. There is 500 different direction that they could go, right?
Yeah.
But they are going in that one direction. So that is very important. Some companies, they don't know sort of where they are going. They want to do all the things and they end up doing nothing
Yeah.
remarkable, right? So first you have to define. Apple is very good in defining things, that this is what we want to do,
Yeah.
right? Then whole company, every employee thinks about doing that thing, that one thing, right? if
Yeah.
you if you think about it, they always name their sort of technologies, right?
Yeah.
They will not use AI, they will use Apple intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Everything you see, there is a name to it. So that's the approach they are going with, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if when you talk about usability and aesthetic, that's something Apple is doing quite good, and the reason is they know what they want to do. Right now, I will tell you one uh, sort of surprising thing. If you remember the iPhone 15 titanium, there was a line in titanium,
Yeah,
and that they sort of
vanishes away.
vanishes away, right? That
Yeah.
whole animation is done by a third company. It's not done in
Okay.
house, right? It was some other company that they hired, a freelancing sort of company, right? So they are also look out for what's best. नॉट कि भाई एप्पल के लोग हैं तो वही वो करेंगे वही हम दिखाएंगे दे वांट ओके दिस इज व्हाट वी वांट whoever can do it we will pay for it,
Yeah.
right? So their vision is very clear, that
Okay.
differentiate them from all the companies, right? That this is what we do, what we want to do,
Yeah.
and whoever can do it, that's the guy, right?
Okay.
So again, functionality wise, they have sort of revolutionized landing pages, right? As you said, with
Yeah.
that 3D thing, right? Scroll effect, right? So what can I say? That they are damn good, bro. They are on that level that they can sort of set industry standards, right? We
Yeah.
sort of we sort of reach out what they have set,
Yeah.
right? We try to analyze and stuff like that, and they set it, so they are good.
Yeah. So recently, when now I shoot with iPhone, but recently when earlier I had an Android phone, I
Hmm.
was so fascinated by the Apple's OS interface. So
Hmm.
what I would do was I would go to Play Store and I would download the app iPhone launcher
Launcher.
to get that aesthetic.
Yes.
So like I would like see like yeah यार ये लग रहा है ये कुछ तो है इसमें. So I
Correct.
guess that's the thing that Apple has itself created, and I guess that's the user persona that Apple particularly targets. We would not only want the middle class to buy it, but also the upper class people because see, I guess MI is such a phone that looks for like under 20,000 you'll get all the things that you want. So it targets the middle class and all the uh, classes below it. Whereas Apple is like, no, I'm a premium company. Apple and the Samsung flagship models are like the premium things. Like they target the premium people only, and not everyone can afford that. And not everyone can go for like a 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh phones in future because I think
Correct.
Apple would be going to that level. So and you talked about the animation, like the titanium animation was made by a third party provider. So, according to you, why are animations necessary? What if a website is not made without any animation? Will that create the same effect as it is creating without with it, or would that be different?
Great question, because it's very important to sort of think about this topic, because what I'm seeing is people adding animation for the sake of it. That's not the case. Again, that's the beginner mistake that people designers do, right? To add design elements without understanding why they are sort of adding it. Animation is same case, right? Animation has a use case to it. First of all, in simple terms, animation makes the site engaging,
Okay.
right? Simple.
I
That's
guess
Apple
as you
doing
talked
Apple
about
things.
animation, animation went up.
That's Apple doing
See
Apple
now
things, bro.
Apple is so smart.
Yeah.
It looks for like yeah, this is why user person he'll talk about
Exactly.
animation and animation will pop up.
They are listening, bro. So where was I? Right. So that's the simple, basic, you know, need of animation to make the site engaging. But you need to understand that not all website needs animations.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
simple website which has a goal of displaying information and converting the user by that information has no need of animation,
Okay.
right? Their focus is on the copy. What are the features? How can that tool or that service can benefit me as a user? That's the whole
Okay.
goal. How to display information and convince user to be on board, to convert, right? So those kind of website don't need animation for the sake of it, right? So that's one thing. But the actual purpose of animation is to again guide users. There is a flow to it. When you add
Okay.
animations, it creates a flow.
Okay.
And that's the thing animation is actually intended for, right? That if I am scrolling, again, if you take an example of Apple, why they did that 3D thing, right? Because everything on that page is focused about that product, right? People
Okay.
are buying that product, right? So one thing they can do is create different images. That is the
Okay.
standard way, right? One shot, side shot, one top shot, one zoom. That different images they put it. Then they convert it into one single product 3D mock-up, and they sort of animate it through the scroll,
Okay.
right? So that increases the engagement for the users. That okay, this
Okay.
is the product I'm buying for, and all the information is sort of coming right or left alignment, and
Yeah.
it's popping out, but the focus on the product is always there. It's always
Yeah.
with us through the scroll. So that's again guiding it through animation, right?
Yeah.
Then there is micro interaction. When you click a button, it pops up. Then it depends on the brand itself,
Okay.
right? Some brands are very playful, right? If you have ever used
Yeah.
Duolingo, the language thing, right? Language. So if you that whole brand has a very playful tone to it, right? So
Yeah.
all the animation sort of assist and enhance that messaging of playful tone, right? With that sparrow thing, whatever that is,
Yeah.
right? It comes around and around again and again with sort of animations when you click on. So stuff like that. So that's brand identity to push that message of playfulness. If
Okay.
something is serious, right? So they need certain animations or certain things that can assist that message that okay, we are serious, we are onto the business side of things, we get shit done. Okay, if that's the messaging of the brand, then
Okay.
maybe some animation can assist them with that, right? So stuff like that, we then step back and have to understand why we need animation and what kind of it we need, right?
Yeah.
Not just that okay, it's looking bland, add animation
Let's
here,
put
something
everything
is
over there.
popping. I have seen websites where like the button is doing cartwheels here and something is popping out randomly, no thought behind it. and
Okay.
and it is a big red flag because when it is developed, the animations, if not optimized correctly, it will hamper your load speeds to that extent that the pages will not load
Okay.
for 30 seconds, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's very heavy. Animations and stuff like that is very complex to develop, and it's very heavy files if you not optimize it correctly, right?
Yeah.
So what is the need if what is the need and what will be the results if the user will not see the web
Yeah.
page because it's not loading? What is the need of animation, right? What will it
Hmm.
benefit, right? So we have to think about it in that sense. Use when it is necessary, you feel like, right? And
Okay.
think about it.
Okay. So just a disclaimer, guys. This video is not sponsored by Apple because I think we are talking a lot about Apple in the entire video. I would just like to give a disclaimer. This is not sponsored by
True,
Apple
bro, true. Apple
because
fanboys talking about Apple, that's it.
yeah. So how do you measure if a design is successful? If the design works,
Again,
not by the user feedback. What are some
uh,
other things? First is the user feedback. Yeah, you get like yeah, तूने design अच्छा बनाया, ये app चल रहा है. But if since you are working at a company, so
Hmm.
inside a company, how does that thing work?
Okay.
If you are allowed to share.
Yeah, yeah. See, again, the straightforward answer is it depends. Right? Everything, it depends. Now, I tell you why. Because I feel like design is something everyone can comment on. Code development is not that. If I don't know, you will show me the code, right? And I will be like, अरे आदि क्या बनाया है bro, मेरे को क्योंकि पता ही नहीं है क्या दिख रहा है. But
Yeah.
even a non-technical which has nothing to do with that industry can comment on the design because it's visual thing, right? Everybody can comment on it. If not understand it, everybody can comment कि यार मजा नहीं आया, ये अच्छा नहीं है, यार बहुत अच्छा है, right?
हाँ.
Stuff like that. So good design, I don't believe in good design because there is not a standard thing that this is a good design, this is not. Even some people don't like Apple's design,
हाँ.
right? It's not something. Ah, yes, of course, bro.
ये दुनिया से ही हो ना तुम लोग.
Not not everybody will come to same page with design. Never.
Okay.
There's no one design that 100 people will like out of 100, right? Someone will not like it. So don't focus on getting people's appreciation or approval
Okay.
of good design. Understand that, okay, what are the things we are trying to solve, and is if that's solving or not with this design,
Okay.
right? So we do something like KPIs, right?
Okay.
So basically what it means that, okay, our goal is conversion, let's say, right? That people should come to the site, understand what we are offering, and they should put some kind of information about them, maybe an email, phone number, name, something we can collect. If that's the use case, well, that's the pain point or goal we are trying to achieve, then design should match it. Design should assist it. That's the good design, according to me, and according to
Okay.
clients also, right?
Okay.
Then if you pinpoint it to, okay, this color is not working, that is different thing, right? But overall good design is whatever the pain points are. Whatever the pain points are, the design should correlate and solve that pain points. That's a good design, ideal. Then we can go deep into each thing and sort of comment and feedback and iterate on this is good, this is not, stuff like that. So even in the company, first, whatever the main points are, we take care of those points. Then we iterate on little things, finessing the design to enhance the user experience. We go step by step. It's iteration only, right? So
Okay.
there is no good design today. 1 month uh, after
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
that design will look like shit to you. That's the real
Okay.
experience, literally, right? Because
Okay.
there is no good design and that's it. It's something can be changed, something can be iterated upon, something can be added, removed also, right? Nothing, everything should not be just adding to it. Something should also be removed if you don't think that, okay, this fits the purpose, and it should be removed also, right? Stuff like that. So good design is a myth. Don't go for approvals and appreciations. Understand what you are trying to solve it. You will be okay on that stage, and always try to iterate. You
Okay.
build draft one, don't be like, okay, draft one build, success, done. What's draft two? What's draft three? Iterate upon it, right?
Okay.
And it improves.
Okay. Now, how can a fresher or a college grad choose or come into the industry of UI UX?
So, first of all, the good thing, or in my opinion, it's a good thing that no degrees are required as such, right?
Okay.
No degrees are there. I also do. I am IT from IT background, right? I'm bachelor's in IT. So I am not from a design school as say for
Yeah.
something like that, right? So design degree are not important. Everything is about your skills and how you present your portfolios and how you think. I taken so many interviews now, right? What I see is, what I look from a fresher is not design skills, because I know they don't have it right now, right?
Yeah,
You
because
can't
for the fresher, they
expect
don't know
some.
the industry standards the way they work.
Exactly. Why you can't expect it, right? But you can expect how they think. If they think in a certain way, which is aligned with what I think is good, design mind, right? Skills are teachable, right?
Yeah.
If you come to me for 3 months, you will learn UI UX. It's not that hard or anything, but like any other skills, right? But
Okay.
mindset approach, that's something we look forward to. So for a beginner, just replicate first of all what the live sites and live apps are doing, right? So you take a screenshot of whatever is live, not dribble or Behance screenshot, whatever is
Okay.
live on the internet, right?
Okay.
Shipped products. You take a screenshot, you replicate the same designs,
Okay.
right? In that way, you will learn to design, because when you start from scratch on a white, all your paddings, margins, spacing, sections, it's all jumbled, right? But
Yeah.
when you take a real screenshot and you sort of replicate it, you understand, okay, they used 12 pixels between these two sections, then it makes sense, right? Because if they are close to each other, then okay, I can understand, they are from the same section, right? Stuff like that, spacing, structuring, what spacing is between two sections, what font size they've used, right? Some beginners make a mistake or either go too big or too small, right? Too small in the sense that the text is not readable only, right? It's
Yeah.
10 pixel, 8 pixels, but you have to understand 12 pixels is the standard. You can't go below 12 pixels. It's not readable after that. Stuff like
Okay.
that. So replicate it and make your portfolio on your commentary on the design. Right? Whatever you have done,
Okay.
showcase your thought process through that portfolio, right? And then start applying, start gathering feedbacks from whenever you whenever you can, right? From wherever you
Okay.
can.
So since now there's the time, or there is, we can say, the boom of AI.
Mm,
How do you think AI has impacted UI UX designing, or in other words, people say AI has started taking the jobs,
mm,
and till some point, if I explore UI designing, I guess in Figma also they have integrated AI, and you are like just you just have to write the prompt that convert this into a square and add the background. So, what do you think? Will AI be taking your jobs as well, or not?
okay. Stepping into the controversial territory, right? Debatable territory, right? So my take on AI is whole different, but that take is built after some time. Initially,
Okay.
I also thought that, oh shit, okay, these things are here, they are doing well, they are cheap. What if? What if? That thought is always
Yeah.
there. What if? But you know, initially when we don't understand the technology, we sort of get scared from it, right?
Hmm.
What if this happens, that happens, something will happen, right? But over time, like from 2022, ChatGPT is launched at the end of 2022 and till date, right now we understand sort of what trajectory it's going, right? And I have a very different take on it. What I think is, yes, it will take your jobs if your job is a certain way,
Okay.
right? If See, if your job can be automated or can be done by a prompt, then of course it will be taken, but it's a good thing. You have to sort of think about it, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
my whole thing is, I believe that these tools, chat gpt, mid journey, everything, right, generative ai, llms, everything will assist you towards a bigger goal,
Okay.
right? But you have to put that bigger goal above everything else, right? if you
Yeah.
if you are here and you will you want to, you don't upgrade yourself or think bigger and better, then they will take it,
Okay.
right? But what else can we do? We are doing x thing right now, right? Now
Okay.
these tools are here, how can we take advantage of them to do something bigger, right? That's the way to think, always two step ahead and bigger.
Okay.
I will tell you one example. So before these tools, if I want to do a project, right, I will need certain peoples with different skills, right, to do a project. Something like a graphic designer, a illustrator, a copywriter, maybe a motion designer, right, and a
Hmm.
UI UX designer to complete that one project, right? Now I can take these tools, sort of tweak it to my needs, and get results through these tools, whatever I need at that level. Now, you can say that, okay, then those illustrator and graphic design job AI have taken, right? But that's
Yeah.
not the case. They can also do the same thing that I have done, right? To think bigger, to make projects on your own that needed 5 people, 10 people, whole agency are doing a project. One single person can do it now with these tools,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
the number of people will decrease on a single project, right?
Okay. Okay.
But projects can be bigger. Number of
Yeah.
projects can be bigger, right? Scale can be bigger. Creativity can be bigger. Now I've used Mid Journey. I have used generative AI to sort of visualize what I have in mind. I will never. I don't know illustrations, right? But I know a style. If I look at it, I know this is something I want to use in my project. Now I can sort of reverse engineer it, go to generative AI, something mid journey, give the input, understand the prompt engineering, right? And get results and include it in my project, right? So in that loop, we can use that these AI to assist yourself to a
Okay.
bigger.
Okay. So this is my last question. It's not on the topic that we are,
Hmm.
but what's like the best piece of advice you have ever got?
Okay. Hmm. I think there are two advices which I believe I read somewhere. First is life is a game. Treat it like a game, right? Because if you are a gamer, you know, and you enter a game, there's a world,
Yeah.
right? There are constraints, there are rules, and you progress. And there are some levels that you find very difficult. Then you go back, you upskill yourself. Then you enter that level, and it was like child play, right? Stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that same thing happens in life, especially in career. If you think about it, right, it's the
Yeah.
same progress bar and everything is same, right? Constraint, rules, and you have to upskill yourself to progress. And anywhere you can progress, that's it, you are going at the right direction, I believe,
Okay.
right? So that's one thing. And second is, it's a very philosophical thing again, but it too shall pass, right?
Yeah.
Good thing, bad thing, phase. Because, right, as a designer, I will say, sometimes you are sort of in that loop, right? Something is not going right or something is going right, you are in that loop. You
Yeah.
sort of have to step back and understand this too shall pass, right? Sometimes you take it maybe a feedback or something like that. You take it personally,
Yeah.
right? They are critiquing the design, but you think they are critiquing you as a human being. So you have to sort of laid back with a laid back approach and understand that everything will pass eventually. Right? It's not that serious.
Okay.
Everything passes by. Good thing, bad things, high, lows. Right? You just have to progress. You just have to move forward. That's it.
Okay. So thank you, Dhruvil Bhai, for like I did not expect this podcast to be like an hour long. We are talking for like more than an hour.
Bro, it's our bhai.
Yeah, so I'd
Too
just
long.
like to know how was your experience without
It
sharing
was
a lot.
great, bro. It was great, and I tell you why. Because somebody like me who wants to talk about design, right? And whenever he gets a chance to it, he loves it. Simple as that,
Yeah,
right? And you have actually asked some really good questions, right? Something that a beginners or even in general people should understand. Designers should understand. Have a conversation. Maybe you don't agree with my opinion.
yeah,
Obviously, as designers, as a design itself, not everybody will agree on the same thing,
okay,
right? But that's fine, right?
okay,
So yeah, thank you for having me. It was a great experience. Great
okay.
talking to you.
Thank you so much. And once again, guys, he's my cousin. So I'll just put up his LinkedIn profile on the description below, and he writes super awesome blogs on LinkedIn. Must follow
Thanks.
him.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, bro.